All right, let's start another session of the Hive Live. Everybody, welcome to the Hive for real estate agents. The Hive exists to help agents build real business with clarity, confidence, and consistency. And we're not just chasing trends. We're collaborating with top professionals, top agents, and industry experts to really bring you the tools and the strategies that are working in today's market. So no theories here. It's all in practice, stuff that's working right now for agents out there. Just a quick note, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can join the Hive Live session on the Zoom and have access to Q&A and a Q&A discussion and a discussion with the speaker, the presenter. They're so valuable. That's where really the magic happens in those Q&A sessions. We turn the recording off, so you won't get it if you're on YouTube, just because it's a safe space where people can ask questions and it won't live forever on YouTube. So if you want to be a part of the Hive Live and have access to the Q&A discussion, go to thereagenthive.com, thereagenthive.com. That'll be in the show notes. So hope to see you next time. Today we got part two of some awesome information. Jeremy Allen from Virginia Beach. Been killing it out there, really has honed in his sphere and has systems, I would say, but a larger system that maximizes his sphere. There's no one in his sphere like gets away from his clutches or his hugs. How about that? His warm hugs rather than clutches. So Jeremy Allen, thanks so much. You had so much to talk about, and we couldn't hold it to one session. So this is part two of working your sphere and doing the systems and saving squeezing every drop out of your sphere of influence that you possibly can. And with that, I'll give it to you, man. Thanks for coming back.
All right. I've been a real estate agent for 11 years, and I started from the bottom. Like I started from the bottom. I hadn't even bought a house when I first got licensed. So I had what you call imposter syndrome. Like who's gonna use me to buy or sell? So I had to chase it. And the things that I'm teaching you now, I began doing in the very beginning of my business. However, these things become more effective as you start to grow a business, and you have to really chase it in order to grow it. However, if you're new and you're hearing this, guess what? You already have a sphere of influence. When I say I started from the bottom, I moved here. I was new here. I only knew my sister. So I wasn't really able to tap into my sphere of influence like what some people can do. One of the people in our market who I saw take off the fastest, and he actually got a Rookie of the Year. His name is Steve Marable. And this guy, he was a school teacher for several years, and he was actually briefly a school principal even. So what he did is immediately went to work on sending everybody a note, calling everybody he knew, and just making an announcement to the world that he is a real estate agent. So he actually was able to tap into his sphere of influence early on, and it worked very well for him. This type of approach to your business is something I think we should all be doing. I think it's, we'll talk more about the why of it, but it's definitely something that if you feel like you don't have a sphere of influence, you're probably wrong. You probably do. It just may not be that big yet. So some of the things that I'm talking about may not be exactly where you're at yet, but I think it's probably where you should start heading, because we want to build a business that we love, right? And that's what I've done. And the business that I've built is duplicatable. Like, even if I'm slacking off and I'm just having a week, I still know I'm going to be producing. I am still going to, there's not as many dips in my business, and I don't chase anymore. I probably should be if I really wanted to, overachieve. Like TJ, I would probably just chase a bunch still. But sometimes when you fill in that's your time with a lot of SOI action, you don't have as much time to chase anyways. And SOI action, I think, is more effective. So let's just jump right into it. This is the referral blueprint. And you'll see some Agent Rise branding, because shout out Agent Rise. I'm heavily influenced by Agent Rise. Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get that off of my screen. That's fine. Okay.
It's all good. We're all heavily influenced by Agent Rise.
So, well, let me say this. Well, first of all, why is it that we want to even work by referral? Because it's the best type of business. Like, and I'm not just talking about referrals, I'm talking about repeat clients as well. Now, you're not going to have a repeat client if you're new, obviously, but give it a few years. You're going to, if you're doing these things, you're going to. One thing that will never happen in my business is someone's going to forget who was my agent. What was my agent's name again? What was it? That will never happen. If someone ever decides to not use me again, which is extremely rare, it's usually like they met their cousin or their friend at church just got licensed. Oftentimes it comes with regret, but there has been a few times where somebody has used another agent. But the reason why this is so important is because it's about building a business that we love. I want to review this real quick because everything I'm talking about, this applies. Okay. It's important that we classify our business or kind of categorize our database of people, right? And we put a label on them. We stereotype, whatever you want to say. So the D's and are the people that I just delete. Maybe they used another agent. Maybe I didn't like them. Whatever. That's rare. I like most everybody. But it does happen. And then C is a cold lead that I don't really necessarily know. They don't necessarily really know me either. Whatever. The B's are the people that know me. Like if they heard, oh yeah, I know him. They would know me. I could call them. They would, but not necessarily loyal to working with me. So the things that I'm talking about don't really apply there. We're really focused on the top part of the database. Okay, so the people that have actually referred me, or at least they really tried to. I've had people set me up for a referral. Maybe it didn't work out, but the fact that they set me up for that referral tells me everything I need to know about them. That tells me that they know me and trust me, and they would refer me to others. That's a person I need to focus on. And then my A pluses, they stand out in a major way. Like these are people that have actually referred me more than once. So that's really cool. Now I did identify a different part of the target depending on where you're at in your business. You may have identified this too. And then the bullseye in the center of the target, there's another part of that target, like the very, very center. I call that the A plus plus. And these are walking billboards. These are people that maybe have referred me or I know would refer me, but they have luxury. These are people that like, I don't know, call me weird, but I love selling $2 million condos. It's a thing I'm into. It's happened recently. It hasn't always been that way. In the beginning, there's no one that was selling any luxury homes with me in the beginning. But over time, as you build up trust with people and you build up a resume, it's amazing how that can happen. So I want to make sure I highlight this because all the things I'm talking about is for the A pluses, the A plus pluses, and the A's as well. Some of the B's I may include because I want the B's to become A's. I want the B's to either the people in that B class, I want them to either go down to a C or go up to an A. That's my goal with them. So with Agent Rise, we do have access to a business planning calendar, but you can get, you can make something like this yourself. I think this is a nice tool to have because when we talk about buying brain space and getting the notes and the calls done and getting events scheduled, it's kind of nice to have a general plan of how that's going to take place. Hold on just a second. My dog groomer just let my dog in. He just got his hair cut. Which actually is a perfect segue. Another good strategy that I have found very helpful is a marketing dog. If you guys have one, he's been really helpful for my business. He just got his hair done too. Look at that. He's looking clean. Anyways, we'll talk more about him later. So first, branding. This is a really simple one right here. I do like having a logo. You don't have to have a logo. Your name could just be your logo. It doesn't have to. If you do make a logo, I recommend doing something that you look at it and say like, okay, if you look at that logo, could you figure out who I am and what I do for a living by looking at my logo? You probably have a pretty good idea. I work in real estate and my name is Jeremy Allen from that logo, right? That's why I chose that logo. I thought it was pretty clever. The J is the chimney there. So like I brand myself all over, and I think this is an important way of getting people's brain space. Like my coat right here. See, I have my logo right there. My shirt, boom, right here. I don't like to do name tags. This kind of replaces the name tag. I don't know why. I feel like the name tags are cheesy, but don't listen to me, guys. If you're doing name tags, do them. They work. They're effective. Wear it everywhere, and people are gonna see. People are nosy. They're gonna look and see, oh, what is that? If you're wearing a name tag or you have some kind of branding like that, they're gonna be curious. So again, it doesn't have to be a logo, but if you can come up with a logo, I recommend it, and you're going to use that everywhere. I mean, it goes into a lot of places. A lot of the stuff that I do is based around generosity because it opens up doors. Gratitude is not salesy. I can't say that enough. If you're showing gratitude to somebody because you really appreciate them, there's nothing salesy about that. You know, even though you may be doing it with intention, knowing that it could lead to referrals, that's okay. You may even be literally asking for a referral, that, like we spoke about in the last session. If anyone hasn't seen that first session, go back and watch that because I talk more about asking for referrals and stuff like that because that's really important. And then what gratitude also does is it starts like a chain reaction. You know, when you do something nice and you show gratitude for somebody, it's amazing how they want to do something in return, you know. So if you give somebody a gift, it's like, man, I want to do something for him now. Well, maybe you're not going to give me a gift, but referral would that would count as a gift. And then pretty soon that referral leads to another referral, which leads to the neighbor down the street, which leads to a chain reaction. Now, we want to get people's brain space so they remember who we are. Because sometimes you meet somebody, you have a good conversation about real estate, and then they don't remember who you are 7 months later, right? If they're sitting around thinking about you, you know, and it's a year and a half has gone by, it's creepy at that point. It's not even cool, you know. But if you're doing the right things to get their brain space, it's not creepy. It is cool. And here's some of the things that we do. Social media posting, obviously, social media comments. Sometimes I will jump in there intentionally and just go through my A plus list and jump on their Facebook or their Instagram or wherever I could find them. And I'll just start commenting on just a couple posts here and there. What that does now is it resets the algorithm to where next time I post something, guess who's going to see it because we engaged. Even better, look at their stories. If you comment on their stories, that's actually sending a direct message. So now the algorithm's working for you. You know, that's really what we want. So reels and stories and Facebook groups, DMs, all these things are all important parts of that. And you can see there in this little image right here where I have the VIP group. We're going to talk about that later. So here's one right here that I think is highly effective. Okay, so if we're doing these things right, we're engaging on social media because that's where our people are, right? I think I want to say probably about 98% of my A pluses are on social media. There's a few rare ones that aren't, but most all of them are. So if I'm engaging with them right, the algorithm is working well. Here's something that's highly effective. You want to post your new listing, but now, depending on where you're at in your business, you may not be able to budget for this, but posting a new listing can be as simple as a cover shot photo. You know, this just came on the market. Don't miss out, whatever. Cool. That's showing that you're marketing, right? That's showing some success. That's showing that you're doing business, and that could build trust in and of itself. However, you know, if you want to take that to the next level, I recommend doing some kind of a video. And with the AI technology these days, it's amazing some of the things you can do. And when you do that, you're not just getting their brain space, because you get that if you just post. You can just post a Zillow link, which posting links don't perform well, but you know what I mean. You could post anything and get that brain space, but it's different when you post like a video or something that stands out. And with new listings, what you're doing is you're not just getting brain space. You're showing them how well you are at marketing, how good you do at marketing, like how you're willing to take marketing to the next level. That's what you're showing them. So I think that new listing posts are sometimes underrated in how important and effective they can be. Even though, is me posting this video going to sell the house? It's probably not. It's possible because there's probably about 3,000 agents in this market I'm friends with that, you know, that would see the video, and maybe they wouldn't have even paid attention if it was just a basic new listing post, but they saw the video and now, oh, wait, I might actually have a buyer for that. So sure, it could sell the listing. It's marketing, you know, that is somewhat effective, but it's very effective in showing people the quality of work you do when you're selling somebody's house. That's why. So I will sometimes spend, you know, $600-700 for my photo package because it comes with some cool videos. I'm going to show you a couple cool videos that I've done. I've done several of them. Like I did one where I was Neo in the Matrix, and I had like special effects for that. It was on Halloween. That was cool. But let's see. This is one of my favorite ones. It's only a minute long. I don't know if the quality comes in well there, but I actually got up really early, and my client was like, "What'd you do with my bathrobe?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm kidding. That's my bathrobe. I'm kidding." See, look at that. Look at that logo on my cup there. Oh, okay. S- This was a beachfront property. We went all out on this one. There's a lot in this video here, a lot packed in here. This is highlighting the lifestyle of living there. I have another video where I highlighted the inside of the property, right? This one's lifestyle. If you live on the beach, look, there's my dog right there. Look at that. This is his debut as well. His job was to look cute. Look at that. There's a sunrise. And I paid my friend actually to do a backflip on his jet ski. Watch this. Boom. You see that? Money. Now look at this. This is actually a sunset. This is the sun setting behind. So we captured like all there's a lot that went into this video. My client was so impressed with it and he kept sharing it with everybody he knows. Like, you know how many other people he knows that are in the luxury market? A lot. He shared it a lot. He was so impressed with that video. Every time he watched it, he kept seeing something new. So that's one example. Here's the one I just posted today. We're about to peel this potato. Someone better have a lock on that rate. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Jeremy, why a helicopter in a giant tarp? Most agents will not show you curb appeal from 500 feet above. Today, we're unwrapping a beautiful home on a big, beautiful lot. To the right, to the right. Welcome to 431 Lucas Avenue. Equipped with solar panels so you can afford things like aviation fuel. You know, a lot of agents drive a fancy car and they get stuck in traffic. I drive a helicopter. We're not the same. Maybe I am raising some FAA concerns, but I'm also raising property value. Come check this out.
That's pretty cool. Very inventive.
Right.
It's quite a hook.
So you guys get the gist of that. I'm going to show you one more though, real quick. Oh, let me show you. This one was actually on a rainy day, but we decided to make it work.
Can't hear the audio all that great.
Special reporter Jeremy Allen is on location to give us the inside scoop.
It really was raining.
I am here live at the subject property now, and as you can see, even on a stormy day like this, the curb appeal here looks amazing. Also, behind me, you can see this massive front porch has composite wood on the deck, and that is maintenance free. Okay, we are here in the living room right now, and as you can see, this is an open floor plan concept. I'm standing on maple hardwood floors, and a kitchen island like this is rare to find.
Yeah, you have music in between you talking?
What's that?
You have music in between you talking? The audio wasn't great. I could hear you talking.
Oh, you guys probably can't hear the audio. I don't know how it works when we're sharing it like this, but yes, it has music. The audio is phenomenal. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could hear me talking in that video either.
Okay, it was a little bit low. We could hear you, but yeah, it's video never really comes through as Zoom. I hate that about Zoom.
I didn't know that. My bad, guys.
Okay.
Anyways, you get the point. At one point, I'm actually out in the water in that video. I'm on a boat talking at one point. So. My point with this is going back to the new listings, guys, like it's amazing how much attention you can get from a new listing if you do more than just the basic posting a photo, new listing, check this out, whatever. That's cool. Do that at the minimum, do that. But if you could take it to the next level, I recommend it if you wanted a budget for something like this. So that last video I just showed you, it was raining that day. So we were like, should we cancel? And we're like, no, let's just use this because you know what? Sometimes news reporters are out in the rain. So I went ahead and rocked with that. And then that property, I sold that about a year ago. Okay, and I was the listing agent, right? Well, the buyers that bought it, they actually decided that they shouldn't have moved over to Deep Creek. They wished that they had moved to Norfolk. How do I know that? Because they called me. And they told me that. And they said they want me to be their listing agent when they resell it and they want to move this year. So I'm getting a listing twice. And I'm going to tell you, it's a lot to do with that video, I think. I think they were very impressed with that video. They even mentioned that they were impressed with that video. I don't know why that made me raise my hand there. That was weird. Anyways. All right. So you guys get the point of that. So how to earn brain space? Well, there's some fundamentals here, guys. These are very, very fundamental. You call people, you FaceTime with people, you do some voice memos, some text, some emails, whatever. Sometimes, guys, it's easy to send a text message back to somebody, right? That's very simple. It's very quick, but it's such overkill and extra to, instead of doing that, to actually send a video. But sometimes that's the way to go, man. You're going to stand out. Jeez. Hold on. There we go. I don't know how to get my hand turned down now, but that's all right. I'm going to leave my hand up for the rest of this call. So let's go ahead and keep this moving. Another way to earn the brain space is obviously through notes. A personal note, a note campaign, or a newsletter. The newsletter is the easiest because it goes out automatically. I don't have to do a thing. It just goes out every single month. I don't create it. I don't send it. I don't stamp the envelopes. I don't do any of that. Now, depending on where you're at in your business, you might just be doing all of that, and that's okay. I used to create it myself. I used to handwrite I used to do it all. However, I'm far more consistent when I pay someone else to do it. So I haven't been late in years. Actually, I haven't been late once on my newsletter ever since I stopped doing it myself. Anyways, the difference between a personal note and a note card campaign. Let me just start with personal notes here, guys. So like I have, like, this is an example, just a note. I was getting ready to write this. I haven't wrote it yet. And this is to thank somebody for a referral. Someone sent me a referral. They're going to get a thank you card from me. They're probably going to get a video or a voice message from me too. This person already got both. And just to let them know how excited I am and how grateful I am for that referral. It doesn't matter if the referral works out. It doesn't matter if this person ever actually sells or buys a house with me. That's not what's important. That the person who referred this person to me doesn't control the outcome or the timeline. They control the referral, and they did their part. They connected us. So that is something I am so grateful for. And I have to let them know. And sometimes I'll send a gift card or something. And usually I do like a Starbucks card or something like that. And then I also like to keep that person kind of play by play in the loop to some degree, just to let them know, like, hey, just so you know, we got the Johnson family under contract, and they are super excited about their house. I just wanted to inform you of that. And I wanted to make sure I thank you again for that referral. I'll say something like that to keep them included and involved. Every situation is a little different, but so let's just talk about notes real quick. You like that new graphic I put at the top there? It's pretty fresh.
That's nice. Good play.
All right, so here's some examples of some notes that I've written. I showed you guys some of these on the last session, but just a gratitude note here and there. It could be something simple as saying "I love you." That's all. Boom, done. These are some personal notes here that I personally wrote, and that goes to a specific person. The difference with a note card campaign is this I wrote once, and I sent this to, I think it went out to 180 people or something like that. I usually send close to 200 people. And this was a note card that I'm actually going to repeat this one this year. I don't necessarily do this every year, but seed packages I find are a very good gift to give people, but they're actually small enough that you can mail them. You don't have to deliver them on a porch. They have great shelf life. If someone throws it in a drawer and doesn't even, use them, great shelf life. That's actually a house-shaped seed packet. I don't remember where I got it from. Just Google house-shaped seed package. I think there's only one company doing it. You'll find it. Notice I put on here, I'm never too busy for your referrals. That's the way of asking without asking. That's just the way of reminding. And you'll also notice that my logo is even on the seed package. The more branding, the better, but the point is to get someone's brain space and to stand out. No one's usually expecting you to send them that. And then when they actually plant the tomatoes or whatever, I've had people post it, tag me. I've had people send me photos of their flowers. It's a fun thing to do. This is what I did. I think this was last year or the year before. It was sunflowers. That was fun. People appreciated that. This is a fundamental one that I think we should all be doing. Happy home anniversary. It's very simple. This is one of my easiest notes to write. It's already written for me right here. All I have to do is type right the date and then sign the bottom. Very simple, very quick. Birthday, same thing. I'll just write happy birthday right here, sign the bottom, done. And after I run, I usually order 100 cards, 100 of these at a time. And once they're out, I'll just redesign it and do another one. Pretty simple. Easter's another fun one. I showed you guys this one last time. This one's kind of silly. St. Patrick's Day is coming up next month. It's not too late. You want to get on it today. You want to get on it very soon if you're going to do a St. Patrick's Day card. But you could do something about, you use ChatGPT to come up with some ideas on how to design the card. But if you could find something to kind of brand it to, like, your referrals are the heart of our business. Okay, cool. That's, and it's me and my puppy looking into each other's eyes. I think that was a moment. Not AI, guys. That's a real photo. That right there, that love right there you see between me and my dog, that's real. Okay. Obviously, Christmas cards. Every year, Christmas cards. I recommend getting that one out as soon as possible. In fact, any holiday you're doing, I love it if I could be the first one in someone's mailbox for Christmas. Because, if you send it to someone and they get it on December 23rd, cool. You got it there on time. Great. How long is that going to sit on their fireplace mantle, though, before they throw it away? Well, if you can get it to them on December 2nd or December 3rd or whatever, then it's going to sit there the whole month, and you might be one of the first ones, So I think that's really cool. Same with birthdays. Send them out early. People appreciate that. Okay, so raffles. This is another fun thing to do. It's kind of combining an event with gift giving at the same time, because a raffle is an event, and whatever prize you're giving away is a gift. So this kind of goes in line with all of that. So when I'm doing a client event, which we're not going to talk too much about client events. You got to check out the next session for that. But when I'm doing a client event, one thing I like to add is a raffle, just because it's fun for people. I like to do 10 raffle prizes, and when you walk in the door, you get 10 raffle tickets, and you could put them all into one if you want. You could split them up however you'd like. And I like to get creative with my raffle prizes, So one of the things I did that actually I think got the most attention and people talking was I did a free firearm. That's fun, right? How many real estate agents give away a free gun? Like, bang, bang. You know what I mean? That's kind of cool. And the owner of that gun store is also an A+ client of mine. So I'm supporting an A+ business by doing that. And that's one of my most expensive raffles. I pay $400 for. I'm not going to let his business pay for it unless if he really insisted. But the reason why I don't want his business to pay for it is I'm not giving him enough business to justify it. You know what I mean? My termite guy, oh, that's a different story. Oh, he actually contributed $1,000 to this event, because there's a difference. I bring him a lot of business. I do have some firearms, but I don't buy that many guns from him to where it's like I want him to give me a free one. So sometimes I tag businesses to these raffles to promote them, but it doesn't mean they actually paid for it. They may or may not have. It depends on the business. So, people put that in there. Also, let me say this too. We'll get to that later. Shout out to Atlantic Bay Mortgage for hooking up the Yeti cooler. That's a pretty expensive item, very popular. The person who won it wasn't there. So what did I do? I sent her a selfie looking at it and surprised her with that. She was really excited. Boom. Okay. That wasn't supposed to be there. That last one, ignore. Okay. So anyways, let's talk about gifts, since we're already talking about raffle prizes. These things kind of roll together. When it comes to raffle prizes and gifts, I like things that buy the brain space. Okay. Now, Girl Scout cookies don't really do that, because what happens with Girl Scout cookies? People usually tear into them things, and they tear them up and they're gone. How long is that going to last in someone's house? If they have kids, come on, these things are gone that same day. So that day I got some of their brain space, but after that, nothing. The reason why I still do Girl Scout cookies, that being said, is when one of my A+ clients is promoting it because their daughter's in Girl Scouts, okay, they got me. I'm going to buy 10, 20 boxes from from her, and I'm going to deliver them to my clients that year. I don't do this one every year, but if I do have somebody I want to, connect with in that way, it's about building relationships also, not just buying brain space. Now, here's an example of a gift that does buy their brain space and it lasts a long time. Okay, the cork bottom coffee mug. Actually, I got one right here. These things are great. They're dishwasher safe. They last for a very long time. If they're using it and washing in the dishwasher all the time, I find they last a couple years before you might need to replace it. But even if they don't use it and it just sits in their cabinet, I mean, you still are getting their brain space, or even if they don't like it and they want to give it to someone else, you're still, whatever. No one's going to throw it away. Like, this is a good gift. If it's a summer day and it's 102 degrees outside, it's not going to melt on their porch. I can leave it there. That's not a problem. Again, branding, I think, is a good thing to be thinking about. Shoot, I don't have one right with me now, but I do have actually bags that I actually had my logo printed on the bag. But I also have a lot of stickers. See, I can just put his little sticker right here. Never too busy. That's what I like to deliver them in. Not necessary. You can just deliver this. But it's really cool when you deliver someone a gift and then they post about it on Facebook. When you get someone posting your gifts on social media, now you're getting way more brain space, because now you're getting the brain space of their sphere of influence. So sometimes people organically do that. Sometimes I encourage them to do it. It's okay to say, hey, do me a favor, especially if it's an A+ person. You remember, they're an advocate. They're a walking billboard for you, or else they wouldn't be an A+. So if you have any A+s, don't hesitate to tell them. Say, hey, what would really be cool is if you shared that on social media, and then, oh yeah, no problem, and sometimes people just do it without me. Usually I don't even mention it, but there's been many times where I've told them to post it, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sunglasses are cool. This one right here is one of the better gifts, I'd say. People have a lot of emotional attachments to their homes, So if you create something like this, an image, see their family, it's kind of cartoony, but their family, this is their first house or whatever. This is a really memorable thing for them. That there's a lot of emotion that we have into our homes, especially when you raise your kids there, you raise your puppy there, So it's a good gift, and people really appreciate it. And it means a lot to them. And then and it gets their brain space. This isn't something they're going to ever throw away. Some people are going to put it on their coffee table. Some people are going to hang it on their wall. Some people are going to put it in a box in storage somewhere. But either way, I guarantee you, nobody will ever throw that away. That will be there forever. I usually deliver it with a frame. Unless if it's someone that moved out of state, then I don't. I actually just send them the flat, photo, just the image only. They can get their own frame. And I also have gift bags that are custom designed with my logo that fit this just perfectly. So yeah, it's really cool when you get people posting about you. Another gift I think is fun, I didn't share this one last time, is Christmas ornaments. How cool is that? Like a little piece of wood and they draw their house on it, and then the date they purchased it. That's pretty cool. That's going to get their brain space. Now it's going to be a seasonal brain space. But guess what? When they pack up all their Christmas stuff, oh yeah, you're gonna make it up on that tree again next year. You're gonna be on that tree every year, even after they sell that house. Long after, they'll probably still keep that because it's a memory, So what we didn't really talk about at all last time was the VIP Facebook group. This is something that is a useful tool. I don't post in mine every single day, every single week. I'm not always so active in there. You don't necessarily have to be, but it's like a really good tool that you could use to connect with all your people. I think I have it says 159 members. I think I got more since I maybe screenshotted that. But these are all my people, so it's just like a place where I can communicate with them. It's a place where I can advertise my next client event. It's a place when I have a really cool new listing video, I'm going to put it there too. Why not? And then if I'm posting something in that group and I'm going to make sure everybody sees it, it's important to tag at everyone. Otherwise it may not, because if you're not active in a group and you're not posting a lot and no one's ever engaged in it, just because they're in the group doesn't mean it will show up on their algorithm. So sometimes it is important to tag everybody if you're doing that. So here's something I did. I was doing raffles where I was doing a raffle every month for this year. This was back in 2023. I did a raffle every single month that year. It was a little overwhelming actually, and I don't think I would do that again necessarily, but it was a cool run of momentum to do it, So I did this is Irene Davis. She's a photographer. She's a local business owner. She's an A+ client of mine. So what I did is I raffled away a free photo package from her. So now you're creating memories. Again, I'm trying to pick gifts that have shelf life to it. Because someone might have a really cool family photo shoot, and then they remember who gave it to them. How did they get that photo shoot? Wow, professional. We didn't even have to pay for it. Some people use their phones only on family photos and don't ever do a professional photo shoot. So some people, this is a big deal. So that was a really cool prize. And let's see here. Yeah, it's got 33 comments on it, seen by 117 people. That's pretty effective, right? That's working. Now look at this barbecue. This month's raffle was a barbecue grill. Look at that, 46 comments, 106 people saw it. Part of the reason why I'm getting so many comments is people are wanting to sign up for the raffle. So to enter in the drawing, comment below. Wow. Okay. I'm really encouraging people to comment there if you want a barbecue grill. Pretty cool. Okay. And then let's see here. Why did I screenshot this? Oh, look at that. See the nice, Jeremy, on your generosity and giving back to those who already help you find homes is unheard of. You got a beautiful heart. That meant a lot to me. I really appreciate that because, again, gratitude is contagious because she's grateful now. She wants to show me gratitude. And then when she posted that, guess how I felt? I wanted to show her gratitude now because it's contagious. So then I wrote her a note after that, So it's kind of how that works. Sometimes I don't know what to raffle away. So you know what else I use the VIP Facebook group for is a polling to see what do people want. People voted 62% of people voted for that barbecue grill. This was leading up to summertime. I said a puppy. just so you know, I was not going to raffle away my puppy. It was going to maybe be a puppy. In fact, I actually put that on there jokingly. I put Matt Rife tickets. That was like when Matt Rife first blew up. He came into town and it sold out so many months ago. It was impossible to get Matt Rife tickets. I'm glad they didn't vote for that because I don't think I would have been able to get them. So sometimes I'm playing around with some of that, but like a gym membership, that's cool. Golf lessons. I just throwing things out there. I don't know what people want sometimes. You just ask them. So the VIP Facebook group is really cool for these type of things. You could see here we got 33 votes on this. I wasn't sure which color of coffee mug I wanted to get. I decided to get the cobalt blue because 69% of the people that voted for blue. Cool. I haven't actually bought my new mug for this year yet. So I'm actually getting ready to make another purchase. I might bring the black ones back. I'm not sure. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to post in here and I'm going to ask people what they want. Every year I try to do a new color and I usually, I give away, I think I get 120 of them and I give away 120 of these things every year. And, then that way it's simple. If I know next year, I'm like, okay, cool. So this year, if I bring or if I get a white mug or something, I know nobody has it unless if I gave it to them this year. So I'm not duplicating the same gift. And sometimes I'll deliver these on people's porches randomly. I'll just say, hey, I'm in your I'll usually do a video. Hey, I happen to be in your neighborhood. I was thinking of you and I wanted to give you this gift. It's on your porch. I'm gonna leave it right here. Thank you so much. I'm just so grateful for your loyalty and anytime you have opportunities to refer me, it means so much. Thank you. That's simple, something like that. Very effective, and people really appreciate it. Okay, so here is actually the live raffles that I did, let's see here. So at the time I had Cassie here on my team, so she would actually do it with me, and my puppy would sometimes do it with me. But look at this, seen by 93 people. This one was had 45 comments on that raffle. People start commenting a lot, and then all of a sudden it just helps the algorithm when you're doing this. Yeah, so a lot of action there. Those are fun. So to kind of sum this up here, guys, like the way to earn the brain space is all of these things. You don't have to do all of these things though. Like definitely start somewhere, do something and maybe keep adding to it. And you want to pick the things that are congruent to you and to what you feel like would be really like you. Maybe a coffee mug isn't a gift that you would ever want to give somebody. That's fine. You don't need to give anyone a coffee mug. But find something that you could give somebody that you feel good about. Something that's like, man, I think this would be cool to give away. In the beginning, I was a kind of more of a low budget type marketing agent, and I used to do Dollar Tree all the time. I would get Dollar Tree items, and they didn't buy brain space for a length of time because they're cheap items. Like maybe I would make an Easter basket. Easter's coming up right now. This is a good time to be thinking about what we're going to do for Easter, right? It'd be a good time to give someone a pop-by gift for that. but whatever it may be, the Dollar Tree is a good resource and they have a lot of cool stuff. And the difference only is that you may not get their brain space as long, but you still get it. No matter what the gift is, you get brain space from that. You definitely get some activity from that. Now, when you look at all these different ways to earn the brain space, what ties it all together is the client event. That's what ties it all together. Because when you do a client event, if all of these things apply. Anytime I'm running an event, especially my large event I do every year, I do all of these things just specifically for the event. So it's like it's gold. Like the client event is to me like the one of the key parts of my business, and it's a lot of fun. So my engagement tracker goes off the charts. If you guys aren't tracking your engagement, it's probably a good idea to either track it, or if you put out your business planner for the year, it's almost like you're meal prepping your calories instead of tracking them afterwards, right? So when you're meal prepping, you don't really need to track because you already know what you're eating. You prepped it, right? So this is kind of like meal prep here. A client event to me is meal prep. I know in my client event, I am going to get a lot of engagement. And that engagement, guess what that leads to? It leads to leads. That's how that works. So real quick, I'm gonna mention events, and then on the as we end this series, part 3, I'm gonna focus just on events only next time we do this. So the events that I do get a lot of engagement on the front end of the event. That's way more important than the people that actually show up. Almost the people that show up are kind of like icing on the cake. Yeah, so large events get more engagement because you're inviting more people. You have more people you're in front of. But a small event gets you more personal relation with people. When I'm doing a big event, there's certain people that come to that event and they don't get much of my time because I'm spread out over 150 people throughout the room. I'm trying to be everywhere. But there's some people that don't get a lot of my time at that event, and then, they missed out. Well, the small events, they get the most amount. A small event's almost better in some ways for that personal touch. Now, if I'm going to do a small event, my focus is my A pluses, because those are walking billboards. Those are the people that I want to be in front of, and again, we're going to talk more about events and stuff, but another way to get brain space, as simple as it seems, is magnets on the business card, for example. This is my business card right here. Guess what? Boom, on the back side, it's a magnet. This sticks on your refrigerator. If I can get on somebody's refrigerator, I'm in. Like, that's it. I get that brain space every time they walk by it and just happen to see it. Subconsciously, I get their brain space. This is somebody that's had 3 years of my pie party events from 2021 to 2023 stuck on their fridge. Now, after this photo was taken, I'm sure they have probably 2 more magnets now, at least, since then. So magnets stick around, pun intended. So I do recommend utilizing magnets anytime possible. And that's what I got about.
So awesome. It's the gifts. Thanks, Jeremy. That is amazing stuff every time. And I know we could talk every couple hours every day for a few weeks. I'm sure on all the stuff that you do and all the results that you get and all the clients that are just like thrilled with it. But you mentioned something about costs. I'm sure that there's anybody watching out there. There's one of their first things, because we're always kind of like, I don't have the business coming in, and we're always kind of, what do we put our marketing dollars towards? So if you had to do like 1 or 2 things, what would it be? Or like, where did you start, and what were the 1 or 2 things that you started with before you build it up?
I would start with calls. Depending on your phone plan, I don't think anyone's paying for minutes anymore. I think you have unlimited minutes.
Yeah, they did away with that.
So that's really free. You could use your office phone if you really want. But yeah, it's free. I would start with calls and social media stuff. And then I'd really write some notes. These are cheap. These are just cheap little 4x6 notes. You can buy them in bulk. You can design them yourself and order them. You can there's so many places to get them from.
Yeah.
Cheap. Yeah. So I definitely recommend doing that. And then I would also, when it comes to a client event, and that may, depending on where you're at in your business, if in your first year, you may not, maybe you're not quite there for a client event yet, but you might be. The thing is a small event is so personal. So like you could just set up an event and just advertise it and say, hey, we're going to do this event. It's going to be at this brewery. We're going to have food and drinks for you. Come through. And maybe only 5 people show up. That's 5 people you're going to have a lot of good engagement with right there. And then if 10 people show up, cool, you can handle that too. But if only 3 people show up, you're only paying for 3 people. You're not paying for 10 people. That big event that I posted, that I showed you on my pie party event, it doesn't matter if I have 50 people or 150 people there. I'm paying a lot of money for that event. That one is not cheap. And so I would look at places you can host an event where it's just like you're only paying for the people that actually show up. Another strategy is you can partner with another agent and you guys can split it. You can market it together. There's a lot of value in that. In fact, when I was a new agent, that's what I did with Miss Debbie Marable. She let me tag along with her at her events. So that was really cool.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, we're going to hop off the recording now. If you're watching on YouTube, if you want to get into the Q&A discussion with the presenter, in this case, Jeremy Allen, I'm sure there's a ton of questions. I know I have a bunch for you. Go to the reagenthive.com and register for the next Hive Live and get on we have a ton of resources that we're planning to send out to everybody. And also we do in-person things. If you're in the Atlanta metro area or middle Georgia, or if you can fly in, the airport is right there. So we do in-person events as well. So go ahead and do that. The reagenthive.com. We'll see you next time. I'm going to pop off the recording. All right, cool.